welcome, pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, and HOTS fans of every flavor, to this Season 19 Div A matchup between Quick Kickers and gillyShark at Bingo Night, a name with the punctuation and the capitalization in all the wrong places. I think they may proudly host a dyslexic person in their marketing team. But besides that, this is a replay cast, so we'll do a quick draft analysis when we jump in, and then we will talk about what these teams are bringing to the table. So we do have uh, we have Alterac Pass and Cursed Hollow banned out for the members of Crit Kickers, and we have pardon me, Brax's Holdout and Towers of Doom banned out by gillyShark. So, with those gone, the first map will take place, or the first map that this series will take place on, is Battlefield of Eternity. So, the high heavens battling against the burning hells, being aided by 5 heroes per side. I'm so sorry. That a frog. So, lots to do on this map, lots of fighting. Team fight comps can perform well here. Race comps are common. We often see things like Raynor, Li Ming, Chromie, Vala, things that can do lots of damage to the Immortal in a short period of time, but also characters that can force the other team to back away. So characters that create space like Garrosh, like Diablo. In the offlane, we tend to see things that can help race as well. So Sonya, Thrall, etc. are often very popular. But enough of hearing me talk about it. Let's hop into this game, look at what these teams have drafted, and watch how this series goes. This is going to be game one between Crit Kickers and gillyShark at Bingo Night. So, we see that the blue team, who is Crit Kickers, have drafted Vala, Brightwing, Dehaka, Alarak, and Murden. Alarak being an unusual pick, but from what I understand, a very comfortable one for Infinity Meme, who knows how to do a lot of damage and a lot of control. One of the strengths of Alarak on this map is if you're defending your Immortal, you can use Alarak's W to force your opponents into the stuns or the pushbacks that your Immortal will do to heroes that it's not allied with. So Alarak can, in fact, get extra CC by moving them not into his silence, but perhaps shuffling opponents from the enemy team into the Immortal. Brightwing is always strong on any map with the global ability to help the offlaner, so they have double global with this Dehaka Brightwing, meaning they can make anywhere on the map an outnumbered situation. Murden is just a solid all-around tank, and Vala is an excellent racer. So this is a team that can kind of do whatever it would like to do. It doesn't have the fastest race in the world, but it also doesn't have the slowest. It has good team fight, good control, lot, just a number of different ways of putting out damage and hard crowd control. So really, overall, a very strong team comp here from Crit Kickers. On the other side, we do have gillyShark at Bingo Night, and they've drafted Varian, Stukov, Li Ming, Blaze, and Zagara. I don't often see Zagara on this map, but she's certainly not a poor choice, giving you vision with creep, and her auto attacks are not weak, and the minions can help you race as well, while also giving you opportunities to scout or to siege buildings. Um, the Li Ming is also an excellent choice, forcing people to choose whether they want to take her combo from the magic missiles in the orb or if they want to let it hit their immortal. Stukov is always a great area control with the big silence puddle, one of the most annoying healers, and something I always ban when I get to. And Varian with Stukov can be unbelievable at finishing people off. So you try not to let them go through together in a draft, but when they do go through together with the Variant Taunt, the Stukov Silence, and the Li Ming combo, you're likely going to lose somebody. It's very hard, especially if it's a squishy, to survive that combination. So this is a team that wants to pick someone off and then win the race 5v4 at the very minimum. Blaze is a very competent offlaner, and can provide some damage as well. And this Zagara, I think the Zagara is kind of the flip point of this draft. If it's played excellently, I think it gives you strong race. I think it gives you strong siege, and I think it gives you moderate clear if you don't get the immortal. But it's also a very, very squishy pick, and if it gets tongued by Dahaka or pulled in by Alarak, Zagara doesn't really have the instant escapes that other DPS heroes do, so it's really going to depend on the skill matchup here. But without further ado, let's get into the game and see how these teams play these heroes. On the blue side, on the left, we have Crit Kickers. They are on the side of the high heavens and working with Alarian, the Angel Lieutenant. We have Vala being played by IE. We have Brightwing being played by Icon. Nullius is playing the Dahaka. We have Infinity Meme on Alarak. And Godfred brings Muradin, the Dwarven King. On the right, we have the red team, representing the Burning Hills and gillyShark at Bingo Night. We have Varian being played by Stark, Stukov being played by Iron, Chess Looter on the Leeming, Ekib on Blaze, and Miller Coffee bringing Zagara. Immediately getting some creep to prevent off-lane ganks or letting the tank just sit here. But Brightwing will look to help clear some of that creep. But Miller Coffee prioritizing that. A lot of damage comes out early, and Varian is just a melee minion prior. But so much damage is coming over the portal, and he gets low, he's blown away! Thankfully, he wasn't on the Gambit build, but killed already, and this does force Crit Kickers to back away, as that excellent Stukov bottle turned their engage into an abort. Some good combos here from Infinity Meme, but they just don't have the damage to follow up the way they'd like to at the moment, with Vala still coming back. So we do see the Puncturing Arrow, Hungering Arrow quest from Vala. This is often chosen on this map. It can do a lot of damage to the Immortals quickly, and it can help poke out lower health members of the opposing team. We do see the Hyper Shift from Brightwing. There's the Polymorph as Godfrey jumps onto Stark, who again, before level 4, is missing a lot of the buffs they get from choosing their, essentially their ultimate at 4. We have Racecar Dahaka with the Enhanced Agility. We have Ruthless Momentum, so reduce mana cost of the Telekinesis, and when you're above a certain health, you have a much faster cooldown. And the Third Wind from Godfrey, which means he's never really going to need much healing from this Brightwing, which lets her focus more on her backline. On the far side, as the offlaners continue to offlanerize, we have the Lion's Maw, so the Lion Fang stacking quest from Varian, which is again very common. We do have the Lobolo from Stukov, Force Armor from the Leeming. We have Adrenaline Stimpack from Blaze, and the Corpse Feeders from Zagara. They aren't able to stop this camp, but there is a tight area here. But so much damage on a Stukov, who is blown away a bit too far. A big time comes out as Nillius digs down. They're going to be on Stark. They're going to blow him away. And they get this camp and 2 kills to go with it, although Blaze will now be free to push hard on this top gate, getting it to about half health. IE will rotate to start taking their bruiser camp, and this is about the time of the game where the teams rotate to their bruisers to get them going in lane as the Immortals start. Yes, the Immortal battle will soon be upon us. So, bruiser going to be captured right away here by gillyShark, while on this side, Crit Kickers will also take their camp. Haka looks to make sure Blaze is not capturing this top siege camp. They are not. This bottom camp is just finished off now by Chess Looter. The Immortal spawning in 3 seconds. In comes Varian, but a great polymorph there by Icon prevents Stark from getting the taunt. Both teams now have the setups they would like to have, but the race is going very much to the advantage of gillyShark at this moment. They've got Ilarion, the Angel Lieutenant, down to half already. The halftime show marks a time where the teams may want to fight. Blaze is pushing out Nullius hard in this top lane, getting a lot of damage onto the Dahaka. Finally, that the Shaman is down, but that means this gate is getting pushed hard. The defense, they're trying to do the defense on Alarian, but there's a ton of damage on Aliming. She gets blown up, but Alarak gets killed as well, losing any stacks that Infinity Meme may have had. Nullius does dig in, gets taunted by Stark, and the puddle comes out underneath, but they're chasing down Blaze, and Blaze is killed by Vala, but they're giving up the Immortal in return for this. They're going to try and get some more kills. Nullius goes on a Stark. Godfrey jumps in, is on Iron on the Snuka, taking so much damage, and IE. No, it's actually Icon on the Brightwing who kills Stukov. It's supportal combat. So Belith, after crushing his opponent into the stone, comes to siege the high heavens with about a 2/3 shield. So the Immortals do ranged damage until their shield is broken. So they like to use the stun circles and a ranged attack. Now the shield is gone, Belith will move into melee range and attack this gate with his blades and his spins. Here comes a spin, knocks Godfred back. But they've only just lost this gate, and with the kills they achieved after the Immortal. Now there's the taunt on to Godfred. He's taking a lot of damage. The silence comes out, but it's not quite where Iron would have wanted it to be. Godfred does survive here. Infinity Meme looking for those pulls. A big pull on Chest Looter, who manages to teleport away. And so both teams are going to take a moment. No, a push away by Infinity Meme. Out comes the Silence Puddle, but again, because Stark was pushed away and was not able to taunt, the Puddle follow-up was not able to be quite what they wanted it to be. Zagara has gone for the Bile Drop, the stacking quest for Infested Drop. Stark's taking a lot of damage now from IE. The taunt comes out on a Godfred. The heal is coming from Icon's Brightwing, and even though the Silence Puddle goes down, so does Stark on Varian. Nullius went into the bush to see if he needed to come down and help. Does get stunned by the jet propulsion from Ekib. They're both clearing out. There is the drag by Nullius onto Ekib, and both of these offlaners will take a breath for just a moment. Crit Kickers does go down, takes the Khazra camp. They have about a half-level lead as they go to clear out the wave that is pushing into their bottom fort. It's at 80% at the moment. So while they do have a very slight building structure advantage, that was with an Immortal push already. It hasn't gone as far as they've wanted to, as Icon uses the phase shift to come back in after backing. It's a big push here with this Khazra camp. Immortals are spawning in 15 seconds. With just Zagara down here, they're going to get a little bit of damage onto this fort. Now, Aval is very good at this. Alarak is not the greatest at this. They're going to have to back out. Infinity Meme does, in fact, use telekinesis to move Alarak out of the way of danger. So, Immortals have spawned. Godfred looks for the Stormbolt. It does not connect. The Polymorph comes out on Stark, so he's not able to taunt the tank of his opponent. They're fighting next to the Demon Lieutenant, Godfred. They do have 10s. He pops the Avatar. There's a big silence. Infinity Meme has to back away. The Unstoppable comes out. The Counter-Strike. Iron is getting extremely low, and down goes Stukov. Godfred gets the phase shift, which keeps him alive. And interestingly enough, these two supports are only one letter different in name. We've got Icon and Iron. So look for me to mess that up consistently. We do have the Rain of Vengeance for Vala, Blink Heal from Brightwing, Isolation from Dahaka, Counter-Strike from Alarak, and Avatar from the Murden. And we've seen some of these in play already. We have the Shield Wall from Varian, Massive Shove from the Stukov, Wave of Force from the Li Ming, Bunker for the Blaze, and Maw for the Zagara. And this time, Crit Kickers have a big lead at the halftime show. Stark comes in, but he's totally left behind by his team. Li Ming looking to race, but Infinity Meme looking to cause problems with that same race. The Polymorph does come out onto Stark, uses the shield wall, taunts the Alarak, but again, the team is not here. Godfred comes in, but the Silence Puddle is dropped by Iron. Godfred getting pushed away here, but IE and Nullius are racing, and Belith is down to 2,004 health. Maw does come out and get IE, but the isolation hits Blade, so Jet Propulsion will not follow up here. But the silence does catch and kill Nullius. Godfred blocking the orb with Murden's butt. A good push there from Infinity Meme, but right now, Crit Kickers are split, and they need to be careful, because they are getting chased down currently. They're looking hard at the Brightwing. Here comes the charge, but a Blink Heal to Infinity Meme gives opportunity to survive, but Icon is out of mana and out of options. Icon will die, but the blue team did manage to capture their Immortal, defeating the demon and getting Ilarion to siege the top lane for them. In the bottom, gillyShark does chase down and kill the Alarak, once again resetting her stacks of sadism to 90. Nullius is pushing in the top lane, while the rest of the blue team simply pushes back on this wave, and this will probably likely be another opportunity where the Immortal does not get as much value because the team that got it has dead members. So Larian slaps away at this gate, but between Li Ming and Zagara, it will go down quickly. In the bottom, Crit Kickers have decided they're going to get a fort in the old-fashioned way. They are attacking quickly on a fort, but the Hungering Arrow to do damage to the fort means that IE is taking a ton of damage on this Vala as Ekeep throws out the oil spill to slow the attack and movement speed. Icon with the cleanse, but that doesn't give Unstoppable. Shark does throw out the Lion's Fang. Godfred's going to take some damage, and here's the pull from Infinity Meme, but the silence does not hit Miller Coffee. Both teams are going to take a breath here. They're both at level 12, should hit 13 almost simultaneously. The kills only slightly in the advantage of Crit Kickers, 7-5. Nullius finishes this wall, tries to kill the creep, but does not want to get caught behind the wall by Iki. But Good Tongue pulls Blaze into range, meaning the minions are attacking Blaze here, but he can heal himself with Sustain. In the bottom lane, gillyShark does manage to take the Khazra Siege Camp, and this is being defended. But they're looking for an advantage. They taunt Icon. The silence comes out. Brightwing is taking so much damage. 130 health, 30 health, but just barely survives and backs away to taunt. The silence comes out on Miller Coffee. 92 stacks now for Infinity Meme on that Alarak. Godfred still looking for opportunities. The taunt does come out on Muradin. IE being healed by Icon's face shield comes right back in, but IE down to half health once again as Godfred is also low. And even without a perfect taunt puddle combo, Miller Coffee and Chestnut are doing plenty of damage to the squishies on the side of Crit Kickers. In the top lane, the top laners are top laning. Glad you didn't miss any of that. Both teams will go for their bruiser camps now. And we'll capture them. I do think that Crit Kickers might go for the hard push bottom here because they know their opponents have gone for this camp. And they've gone immediately to race, but Crit Kickers have decided they're going to take this fort first. The Hungering Arrow does so much damage, and the camp should be able to take it. But halftime does go to gillyShark, meaning that they're going, if Crit Kickers wants to win this Immortal, they're going to have to win a fight at halftime. They're waiting and defending, but the Bile drop comes in, or the Infested drop comes in, meaning Godfred is not able to surprise them. And again, the vision that Zagara gives with both minions and creep, it means it's hard to surprise them. Nullius comes in, tries to go for a tongue with miss. The Swordball comes out, they're doing so much damage to Miller Coffee, but he backs away and just survives. Godfred looking to finish that kill off, but taking a lot of damage from the backline. The isolation hits Stark, taking so much damage. A great four-man stun, though, from the Blaze, and as they kill Nullius to Haka, the bunker is down. Shield wall there from Stark. Icon is getting caught. The Wave of Force thrusts him into the silence, and the Brightwing Fruitfly is dead as well. Crit Kickers forced to back away and give up this Immortal phase once again to gillyShark at Bingo Night, who now have a half-level advantage. And so with almost a full shield of his life bar, Belith slams Ilarion into Pancake Land and is ready to siege in the top lane to take down the fort of the high heavens. Blaze is pushing hard bottom, and Nullius will respond with that trademark Dahaka waddle. Look at him go. Waddle, waddle, waddle-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da. Belith coming in again, has almost full shield. Now, a big pull and stun onto Stark. He's at half health, but the shield wall managed to save his life. The Maw will come out and catch Icon's Brightwing. Godfred stepping forward to protect his healer, but out comes the low blow pile and it kills the Fruit Fly. Belith still has 80% of this shield. They didn't manage to get anything against this Immortal in the first phase. Infinity very low, gets hit by the Infested drop, has to back away. Out comes the puddle. Godfred and Naive forced back. They're being zoned away from doing any damage. 16's now out for the members of gillyShark at Bingo Night. Stark manages to taunt Godfred. So much damage comes out in the puddle. Boom! Muradin has been dead. And they're getting this keep with next to no pushback. In fact, the Immortal still has shield, never mind health. Now, Brightwing will be back in 1 second, but they're going to look to finish this game right now. Infinity Meme is trying to find an angle. 132 stacks of sadism still here. Dahaka rotating away, but there's no bushes here for him to come into. The core is already at 50%. Stark gets polymorph, but Bella, they're just slapping away. And if they don't kill the Immortal, it doesn't matter what they do to the enemy team. And that's it. Game number 1 is going to go to gillyShark at Bingo Night as they get some very opportunistic kills and beat Crit Kickers in game number 1. I think the Zagara provided a ton of utility. Between Zagara and Li Ming, they were almost always able to put damage even when the taunt puddle combo didn't get them exactly what they wanted. And with the area control through damage and the vision control that they had, they made it very hard for Infinity's Alarak and IE's Vala, who are both fairly squishy heroes, to get the control and the value they were looking for. And I think one of maybe the most valuable plays in this game is the huge Blaze 4-man stun at the Immortal fight, as they're stuck in Stukov's puddle that just blow them away, and they basically had control of the game ever since that moment, and they did use it to effectively zone Crit Kickers from defending Belith. It went through a fort without losing its shield. It went through a keep, barely losing its shield, and it took out the core. GG's to gillyShark at Bingo Night. They're up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. So, we'll see if Crit Kickers can answer back in game 2 or if they will get dominated by this gillyShark team. Now let's see where we're going for game number 2. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Game number 2 is going to be on Volskaya Foundry. So, we're going to visit the home of Zarya. Why did I forget her name? Let's not talk about it. So as we open game number 2, talk a little about Volskaya. This is one where having characters that can do damage on a point is gold. Being able to do things on a point in a tight area, a Nubrak with AoE CC, Blaze with AoE CC, let's see, Li Ming damage, Garrosh throws, anyone who can control a space. I've even sometimes seen Gazlo work well here with the Grab-A-Bomb because of its ability to control areas. Junkrat can be disgusting on this map. So can Stukov. So if you like AoE area control, this is your map because teams will come and try to get the Triglav Protector or the Triglav Protector. Anyway, they'll look to get it, and if you can force them away, if you can control the space, you'll get a big siege vehicle. So, it's a big map. Globals can be extremely strong on this map also, but yeah, having control of both micro and macro is incredibly important on this Volskaya Foundry. So let's pop into game number 2 and see what drafts we have, and in fact, if there is any hope for Crit Kickers to get back into this series. So the blue team is once again Crit Kickers. We see that they have drafted Falstad, Blaze, Li Ming, Ariel, and Anubrak. We also see that Icon has been subbed out for Travis Party. I know this team well enough to tell you that it's because Ariel is not one of Icon's normal healers, and so Ariel is not one of Icon's healers, yeah. So Travis Party was brought in specifically to play that hero. We have the global from Falstad. We have good zone control from Anubrak and Blaze, and the little wall segments that we do see on the different parts of these. So wall segments here, on this one, wall segments around here and at the entrance, and at the top one, we normally see fights in this area, so the whips from Ariel can be very useful. I would say overall, this is a solid team comp. You have global pressure, you have area control, you have the bunker, which can help both Li Ming and Ariel survive. Now, Falstad and Li Ming damage can be a bit hit and miss, as in if you miss, you'll probably lose the team fight. So they're going to have to wait for the noob control from either Impale or Burrow Charge, or the Aerial Whips to lock people into place, and then follow that up with quite bursty damage. Even auto attack Falstad, the Q damage can be fairly bursty. So if you want to hit the main damage or get the Blaze Stuns into main damage, that's what they'll need to do to be successful in game number 2. On the far side, we have Chromie, Karazim, Muradin, Greymane, and Leoric. This to me looks very much like a burst it down comp. Greymane does a ton of damage jumping onto people. Karazim is a highly aggressive character that does not want long drawn out fights because his mana will not support his fairly low overall healing throughput. But if you can lock someone down with Muradin or get them in the Leoric Entomb, Greymane can jump on them with those huge Worgen auto attacks. Karazim can hit them and also use seven-sided strike, and Chromie blows up anyone who's locked into a single spot. So what we do have here is a team that can handle longer sustained fights and has some tools to deny long sustained fights with the Cocoon with the bunker on the side of Crit Kickers. And on the other side we have a comp that wants to burst you down right now before you can use those abilities. Now, I would argue they have a lack of hard CC. Their tank has 1, and it's a skill shot. Their support has 0 hard CC. Greymane brings 0 hard CC. And outside of Slowing Sands or Temporal Loop, neither of which are hard CC, you have 1 soft CC from Chromie. Leo also provides a slow and a wall in from Entomb, but teams that don't draft good hard CC, like last time they had great hard CC. They had Taunt, Silence, and Stuns. This time they don't have those things, so they have to kill or they'll lose the fight. That is simply, this team is an on-off switch drafted by gillyShark. If they hit all their damage buttons and at least one person, if not 2 people, don't die on Crit Kickers, the fight is over and you've lost. You have to back out if you don't blow someone else when you hit your buttons. This team cannot handle a sustained fight. Greymane dies into a sustained fight with CC. Karazim cannot heal through a long fight. Chromie cannot handle being jumped on in a sustained fight. So, I would actually say they might have wanted a slightly different tank than Muradin, because Muradin does thrive in longer drawn out fights, but the rest of his team doesn't. So a divier tank, I even think something like a Tychus may have brought a little more. It would have brought even less hard CC, but it would have given you either the Sanct to let fights go longer, or at least let your team restore a little bit, or it would have brought you the Judgment to truly dive and blow up a party member. But that's just my opinion. I actually don't know that much. So let's see what these teams do with these comps in game number 2 between Crit Kickers and gillyShark at Bingo Night. On the blue side, we do have Crit Kickers. IE is playing Falstad. Nullius is on Blaze. Infinity Meme plays the Li Ming. Travis Party is on Ariel. And Anub Arak is played by Godfred. In red, we have gillyShark at Bingo Night. Miller Coffee plays the Chromie. Karazim is played by Iron. Stark is on Muradin. Chess Looter plays Greymane. And Ikib is Leoric, the Skeleton King. We do see the auto attack build frequent flyer for the Falstad, and this is usually the way IE likes to play. It gives you much more sustained damage, and means you can really target people in fights, although it does, it can be scary to be jumped on. You have to play quite wisely with your range with this build. We have the Adrenaline Stim Pack for Blaze, the ordinary one for the offlane, Force Armor for Li Ming, Searing Light. Oh, there's the jump already onto IE, but a good heal from Travis Party means all that work they did does nothing. A huge 3-person stun. The follow-up there. Iron takes so much damage on Karazim. Stark also low, has to jump out. The time stop is on Infinity Meme, which means no one dies after that explosive action at level 1. We do see that. And once again, they want to fight more. Both these teams feeling aggressive, feeling their oats, like we used to say in the olden days, because I am old. And we do see the Nerubian armor, so more spell armor for Godfred early in this game. Stark just looking to annoy them in the rotation, slow them down, prevent them from gaining all the experience they could get. Blaze is in the bottom lane here, and top lane Infinity Meme is clearing things out. On the red team, on gillyShark at Bingo Night, we have Division Time Walker's Pursuit for our Chromie. Very useful. Always nice to have more vision. We do have the Iron Fist from Karazim, pretty much the only choice these days, unless you're going for some sort of weird double healer build that involves Karazim trying something different than the damage. We do have Dwarf Block, so auto attack stacks, block stacks. They are looking at this healing beacon, but it looks like Crickers at this time is not willing to go against it. Godbrett's looking at him. He gets stunned. He does come over the wall. Stark is taking a lot of damage on that Murden. They do manage to get it, but the turret comes out, and Godbrett, they get the experience for the camp on the blue team, but they don't get it. A big stun comes out from Nullius's Blaze. Iron is low. So is Stark and Chest Looter. The Leo comes in, misses the Drain Hope, but is hitting the Skeletal swings, and Nullius will go down. Godbert is incredibly low, but the healing beacon comes out, and they do kill the Greymane, the Karazim, and the Leoric. And like I said, when they hit their buttons and they killed one person, they got Blaze. As soon as that was over, they lost 3 members, because long fights is not this comp's forte for the members of gillyShark at Bingo Night. Falstad will go bottom to pick up that soak. Ariel is mid currently, and we've got Godfrey and Infinity Beam top, while Murden is soaking here. Leo is matching Falstad in the bottom. Now, if he misses that Drain Hope, he can really get pushed out by ranged attackers. It is not fun for Leo to fight ranged attackers, because if you miss your Drain Hope, which he just did again, you can easily be beaten up by ranged attackers. We do also see the Wolf Heart, so not Viciousness, but the Wolf Heart, the cooldown reduction for our Worgen friend, and it has increased armor bonus, and the Consume Vitality. So Leo, wanting more so to hit multiple people with his Skeletal Swing, as instead of going for the Ossian Renewal, which can give you a little more fight sustain. We do see them going hard, and the damage on structures for Greymane in Worgen form is huge. They do push away the camp here and take half this gate down. In response, we see the 2 DPS and the Ariel coming up to push back. Now Murden and Anubrak, the Beetle and the Dwarf, battling it out on the point. Nullius is going to come in as well, but Chest Looter is here. Nullius is taking a lot of damage. He's body blocked away. He's trying to find his way out, but he will get jumped on and blown up by Chest Looter's Greymane. And this is something that Crickers have to be careful about. They're against a burst team. They're against a blow you up team. They can't afford to have individual members or 2 members. They can't afford to get into outnumbered situations. You've got the global. Wait patiently for your opportunity to come in here. Nullius making a bit of a rotational mistake there, i.e. chipping away at that health of Ikib. And with that speed buff from Frequent Flyer, he's able to put a lot of auto attacks there. They are looking to invade this camp. Chest Looter still thinking about Iron is here as well, but Murden is still back, and they will back away. They don't want to get caught here. There is the Impale. A big stun from Nullius, but the slowing sounds will come out from the Chromie. Nullius taking big damage from the Dragon's Breath. Infinity throwing in some orbs. Does manage to blow up the turret. It's up to 87% now. 89 to 89. I didn't know that Time Trap prevented you from contesting, but it appears it does. The Impale will come out again. There comes this other, jumping on a Starkey. Murden is blown away, and now they're in the outnumbered situation. We've got a turret here, and it's doing a ton of damage to Iron here. And now it is going to be Crit Kickers who have the advantage on this point. 89 to 99, and it was in overtime. And the first Triglav Protector will go over Crit Kickers here in game number 2. Now, with them collecting this top experience, but Chromie gets jumped on and murderized by the Triglav Protector. Couldn't protect Chromie. So we see that but Tens, with that kill, Tens come first for Cricker, because they're going to jump on Akib. He takes a ton of damage. The Impale, the Whip, he's so low, he dies. And the Skeleton King knows what it's like not just to be undead, but to be re-dead. The Gust is out for Falstad. Bunker for Blaze. Disintegrate for Li Ming. Crystal Aegis for this Ariel, and Cocoon for Anubrak as they take this middle fort. When they were able to follow it, the take with kills. Now, Cocoon comes out because he knew the team was rotating. They're going to look to jump on this Grey Mane. Now the Slowing Sands come out and attempt to save him, but he's blown away. And this is not a Palm Kharazim. He's got the 7-sided strike, but he's not going to waste it here. He does get killed. Milikoff was trying to help. Killed also. This team is feeding deaths into a team that is staggering them one by one. And this comp cannot afford this. Some great plays coming out from Crit Kickers as they use the inflexibility of gillyShark's composition against them. If you're gonna draft a burst comp, if you're gonna draft a 4-man kill comp, you have to move as a 4-man. You can't be getting caught out like this. Stark looks at his opponents on the healing beacon, but he still doesn't have all of his teammates. And once again, they're in an outnumbered situation. Stark jumps onto the back line. Iron jumps onto Godfred, but Stark takes so much damage. Even with the Avatar, he's down to 500 hit points and has to back away. He's going to have to let the tap in the third wind heal him up here. Leo is bot, so they are outnumbered. They can try to burst someone down, but again, when they're outnumbered, this is a tough road to hoe. Leo comes back top as there is a big wave pushing into this bot gate. Now we see Slowing Sands, 7-sided strike for Kharazim. This does get captured and picked up now by the red team as the blue team is forced to rotate away to pick up waves. So a good use of their inflexibility of this comp there. Once Leo was able to rotate up, had pushed out, then they had a lot of kill pressure. It forced Crit Kickers to back off. And when they took their camp and the wave, it let this, this neutral hotspot go over to gillySharks. They also have Avatar from Murden, which you've seen, the Cursed Bullet from Greymane. So not going for go for the throat for the backline, but looking to help his team by blowing away the hit bars of Nullius and Godfred. And the Entomb from Leoric, which at 20 gets terrifying. But they put a ton of CC onto wow! That Leoric died faster than you could say Yikers, Skeleton King. He went down hard. They're looking to get aggressive here in the top lane. They're supporting this siege camp while Blaze is bottom. It is a 4v4. Ekeb will be up shortly. 7 seconds left and able to slow that down by hitting his ghost abilities. Stark and Ekeb are looking for the opportunity. Stark will jump in, misses the Stormbolt. IE is taking a lot of damage from Kharazim. But this team is getting pushed back. Out will come. Oh, a big gust means that they can't follow up on this Entomb on Travis' party. Stark does jump in, stuns Infinity Meme. Ekeb is fighting over here. This is such a split team fight. Milikoff taking a ton of damage to Godfred, and a great disintegration kills Chromie. The healing beacon will come out, but they're looking to put more damage onto Kharazim. But the dwarf is getting slapped around, and the Avatar has got to be near the end of its life cycle. Stark will mount up and let third win to start to heal him, but we're going to see a back from Leoric as Godfred's Beetles look to tank as they push into this. Stark going to come out again. The teleport from Infinity baits in a huge burrow charge from Godfred, and they kill the tank. Turret is used, but now the only ones left to defend are Kharazim and Chest Looter. And now this push for this top fort is going to get serious from Crit Kickers. And after a lukewarm game one, their coordination is looking much, much stronger. The Cursed Bullet comes out and takes about a third of Infinity Meme's health. The top point is now capturable, and Godfred and IE come to sit on it, but they're going to take the pre-tap because they know a fight is coming. And if you're a team who loves to fight, who loves to be aggressive, this kind of burst comp is not a bad decision. It's very, very strong. You have to know when to use it, though. And I'm not saying they don't, but they've made a couple of missteps that Crit Kickers have been capable of capitalizing on. And like we said in the draft analysis, it's a very inflexible comp. If you don't win the fight immediately, you're going to lose the fight over time. They do lose the top fort because they don't want to fight top. But Leo is pushing mid, getting some free value on the mid fort. Bottom has already lost most of its gate, and 3 members of gillySharks are going to come down and take the turret because they expect to be defending this Triglav Protector. Chest Looter is pushing bottom here. Leo just waiting to defend as they soak experience. 16 is out. In fact, Crit Kickers lead by a level and a half, and this is difficult. This is a difficult defense to be down 16s as the Triglav Protector comes out and Falstad is in it. They're going to jump, but a good Wraith Walk from Ekeb means, wow, he still takes so much damage during that Wraith Walk, and he is forced to back away. In fact, he is going to go the Wraith Walk build. post 10. They're going to push directly onto this keep. The top keep gate is down completely. Blaze is slowing the backs from this team, and they kill Leoric again. Akib has not had a fun game, dying 4 times so far on this Leoric. But hey, trait value, baby. Blaze is not able to help his team, but is killing minions. 16s have just come online for gillySharks. But they're going to push Stark into the team. Out comes the Avatar, and a great whip by Travis Party to keep the healer safe. The Stormbolt will hit Travis Party, and Iron jumping onto Travis Party. Out comes the Cursed Bullet. We're going to see the Aegis used here. A stun, but the heal, no, it's not soon enough, and Ariel is dead on the side of Crit Kickers. Nullius backing up the Entomb is going to be onto the Protector and Nullius, but a big stun there from the Jet Propulsion. Stark getting low, Akib is getting low, the Protector getting low, Nullius is at 500 hit points in the back, Infinity Beam firing disintegrates all over the place. Miller Coffee trying to hit the Sandblast, but they hit the Minion Wave. It's a 1-for-0, but every ult besides 7-sided is spent, and I am out of breath. And this gillyShark team loves fighting. Man, do they love fighting. And they're pretty darn good at it. Crit Kickers, on the other hand, looking for advantages, looking for opportunities to get ahead, and we see they've destroyed top fort. They've got top keep at half. They've destroyed mid keep. They have a big macro advantage because they haven't let gillyShark have all the fights they want, and they haven't let them win all the fights they've taken. Stark is viewing from here, does see Godfred. The Stormbolt comes out, as is the Cursed Bullet. Godfred loses 20% of his health there. That Cursed Bullet was percent. 35%. I wonder if Nerubian Armor manages to... they're going to jump onto Stark here. The Impale comes out, so much damage, the Avatar is popped. They're going to jump onto Travis Party and Infinity Beam in the back. Cocoon comes out on Chromie. The Gust comes out as well. We do see the Crystal Aegis go. The 7-sided strike comes out as well. Infinity Beam takes so much damage. She's almost dead. Yes, blown away by the Leoric. And they kill Karazim in return. Godfred is so low. Leo dies. Anubarak dies. And it is a 2-for-2. The Cursed Bullet comes out on IE. Chest Looter trying to blow away the Falstad. Not quite able, but that was actually a 4v5. Because in the bottom, Blaze is taking another structure. And what a fight. What a fight. Even in a 4v5, and that engage did seem a little bit... They were a little low on information engaging there with Godfred onto Stark, who did live. But again, they managed to go even in a 4v5 that they initiated, and Blaze took the bottom fort. So now there will be catapult pressure in every lane. And this is something that Crit Kickers does prioritize. They want to have wave prio. They want to have lane prio. gillyShark seems to prioritize it as well. But we do see the 20s coming out now for the members of Crit Kickers. So their heroes will be back in 3 more seconds. They need to use this advantage because the 20s for their opposing team will give them a lot more damage and utility in team fights. We see the Wind Tunnel coming out for Falstad, Fortified Bunker from Blaze, Talrasha's Elements from Li Ming, Shield of Hope from the Ariel, and Rewind from Anubarak. We do see the 20 come out with Unraveling, the Slowing Sands upgrade for Chromie, but it's still about 2/3 of a level away for the members of gillyShark. They are looking for a potential gank here in the bot lane, a rotational disadvantage, but they are seen by Chromie's Time Walker's Pursuit. Now the bottom point will come up in a really good timing for Crit Kickers. Still a 1/4 of a level needed to be soaked from the members of gillyShark if they want this to be a 20-on-20 fight. Blaze dueling with Murda in the mid lane, pushing the wave out. Stormbolt does come out, but without Haymaker, there's not much Stark can do to truly put Nullius in pressure. The rest of Crit Kickers are looking to put pressure on this bottom lane. Akib takes some damage. Now, 20s have been reached for both teams now. Godfred is slowed. His armor down to like 50%. We see Fists of Legend from the Karazim. Rewind from Murdan. Hunter's Blunderbuss for Greymane and Buried Alive for Leoric, which is in and of itself one of the strongest upgrades at 20 in the game, in my opinion. Being able to hit 3 people for a lock you down silence is incredibly, incredibly powerful. But Blaze is far away, and it seems like the members of gillyShark know this. They engage now in the 45. Shark takes so much damage, blown away. Tons of CC. They're trying to recapture this, and Keep does get it, but now it's a 4v5 in the other direction. Infinity Meme launching the laser. The Unstoppable comes out for a keep, but now Miller Coffee is being attacked by IE and taking so much damage. She uses timeout, but it's not going to help. In fact, she locks herself down, which is going to give her team a chance to escape, but that's a 2-for-0 for the members of Crit Kickers, as they have a camp pushing top, and they've just captured the Triglav Protector. Infinity Meme blasting away with that Disintegrate to do damage to this front wall as they prep to go in on this keep. 28 seconds before Murden is returned to gillyShark and Bingo Night. The hand from the Protector turns this off. They're going to jump onto the Leoric. He takes a ton of damage, but thankfully for them, Li Ming is inside the Protector, but they still manage to kill the Skeleton King. Karazine desperately attempts to save Greymane from the cocoon, and he does. Not too much damage onto that character, but now Iron has to be careful also. They're going to walk directly onto the core. 2 seconds before we see Murden return. 15 more for Chromie. The Unstoppable, they're going to jump onto Chest Looter, but a ton of damage goes on to Godfrey, and he gets blown away by the 7-sided strike. But the core is down to 50%, and this Triglav Protector still has most of its health at 40%. They're just bashing onto the keep, and that's going to be it. Game number 2 goes to Crit Kickers, and this is going to go to game number 3. GG. Here are our talents, but if you remember what I said early in the game, if you cannot win the fight right away, you lose the fight. And this is what we saw happen again and again. There were a few good fights, but I don't think they ever went better than even in a fight for the members of gillyShark and Bingo Night. Their comp was so inflexible, and there were so many tools that we saw. The Crystal Aegis, the Bunker, the Gust. So many tools to prevent it from being a cleanly won team fight that this comp's inflexibility actually broke them. They couldn't bend, and when they couldn't bend, they broke, which is where we're seeing this 18-6. Now, they kept the game close from a pressure perspective because their ability to blow up always had to be respected. But it also meant that we see like lower damage numbers kind of across the board here. Greymane 20,000 behind the Li Ming, Chromie 25,000 behind the Falstad. And again, I'm not sure Murden was the tank for this composition. I'm not sure what got banned. I didn't get to see the draft phase, but it's possible a different tank could have given them more pressure. But yeah. This a huge turnaround. They had a lot of control over game number 1 because they had a comp that could do more things. In game number 2, they got read like a book and they ended up paying for it. And as much as I love Karazim Greymane is a great idea. They give you a ton of % damage between 7-sided and the Cursed Bullet. They were never given the opportunity to isolate and kill somebody with it, and it shows. So, GG, game number 2. We all love a 3-game series. That is where we are going to be going. Game number 3. A very exciting series so far. I'm glad I got my shoulder tapped to possibly cast this matchup, and boy, am I happy that someone gave me that advice. So, game number 3 is going to be on Infernal Shrines. Don't listen to Windows, it's an asshole. Infernal Shrines, one of the most fun maps in the map pool, in my personal opinion. Again, there's so many ways to win this. You can win with macro, you can win with team fights and micro, you can win with pressure, you can win with globals because it's another large map. There's so many ways to play this map quote-unquote correctly. You can have non-stop side lane split push with a Samuro or an Illidan. You can do, Dahaka Falstad and just create outnumbered situations all over. You can take camps left and right and try to force your opponents to respond. Or you can just show up early to the shrine, put yourself in good position, and crush out a great team fight, take the Immortal, and then shove them down. So, I hope you're all as excited as I am for game number 3 between Crit Kickers and gillyShark at Bingo Night. Let's hop into the game, have a look at these drafts, and see the final awesome conclusion to this epic series. So we see that our team in blue, Crit Kickers, they've drafted Falstad, Chromie, Stitches, Ariel, and Hogger. They haven't done any more subs. Travis Party is back on the Ariel again. And this is, I would say, a great all-around comp. Now, they don't have the world's greatest follow-up for the Stitches hook in Ariel, but after 10, Chromie does give you either Slowing Sands, or after 8, really, or the Temporal Loop, giving you an opportunity to blow someone up. Hogger gives you basically everything. He's still one of the best offlaners out there. And on this map in particular, if he hits the right angle, he can basically spin forever on the point and take characters that way while also doing damage to anyone who tries to come in. And we've already seen IE can play very strongly on Falstad, so they do get global pressure there as well, letting them do a 1-3-1 if they so desire. Late game, I think this team scales very, very hard. Now, the other team has Mephisto Zagara, and they can do very well as well in scaling, but Stitches is a late game nightmare. Falstad gets more and more powerful as it goes. I would say the only character that doesn't scale all that well, Ariel's healing, unless you take the level 16 that gives you more healing. It starts to taper off a little bit, but this is a team in Stitches and Hogger, and even Falstad to a degree, who have some self-sustain, so it's not as big of a problem. On the other side, we do have a response to the global. We have Dahaka, Johanna, Alexstrasza, Mephisto, and Zagara. The Zagara looked really good for Miller Coffee in game number 1, so we'll see what they're able to do with it in game number 2. Alexstrasza, an interesting hero, and it will prep people to be hooked. I love that Iron is playing unusual healers. We've seen Stukov, Karazim, and Alexstrasza. The only one of those which is meta would be Stukov. Her healing might lead to people getting hooked or people getting caught in a Slowing Sands, so this does seem very risky, but I'm not going to speak for why they chose it. They might have a secret plan. If they're going Laws of Hope Johanna, a W build might give her an opportunity for lots of orbs to have a huge sustain. Dahaka gives you the global, the CC. They have much better CC on this one. The Johanna is made of crowd control. Dahaka has drag and isolation. And Mephisto these days usually goes for the Durance of Hate, which is a big root, which can root others if it hits. And the Mephisto damage scales well. Dahaka's control is good all game. Zagara gets stronger as the game goes. So a decent comp that is a lot stronger than I think their last comp was in terms of flexibility. However, I do think Alexstrasza being the healer they chose could lead to some risks in the late game. Getting hooked on the heal circle, or getting gorged on the healing circle, getting whipped out of the healing circle, getting gusted off the healing circle. Like there's so many interrupts for her main AoE heal that I do think if Iron doesn't manage to play this perfectly, they may have wished they'd picked a different healer. But hey, what do I know? Not that much. This is Div A. Let's see what these teams can bring in game number 3. In the blue, representing the high heavens, we do have Crit Kickers. IE is playing Falstad again, Infinity Meme on her 3rd hero of the series, Chromie. Godfred plays the Stitches. Travis Party is on Ariel, and Nullius brings, the Knoll King Hogger. On the right, representing the Burning Hells, we have Chess Looter on Dahaka. Stark playing Johanna. Iron plays Alexstrasza. Mephisto is Akib. And Miller Coffee has brought the Broodmother Zagara. So once again, we see Frequent Flyer auto attack build for this Falstad. Time Walker's Pursuit for the Chromie. The first hook does not connect. Patchwork Creation, so increased heals for this Godfred, making him even more self-sustainable with his Devour E. Searing Light, and On the Prowl for Hogger. We do see the tongue. It does grab IE. He manages to barrel roll out and not take more damage. But Chromie also able to put a lot of damage onto that healing, almost undoing what it was meant for. Both of our offlaners will head right to the top lane, and the 4-mans will rotate to the bottom lane. We have Race Car Dahaka with the enhanced agility, Flashlight Johanna with the Zealous Glare. We do have Circle of Life, so I thought we might see Laws of Hope Johanna, and we did not. Miller Coffee gets incredibly low from a Falstad burst, but manages to survive. But Akib, so low! Oh, just manages to dodge away. So we actually see Chest Looter and Akib have swapped roles. Akib is on this Mephisto, and Chest Looter is on the Dahaka. We see Furious Spark, so the Lightning Nova build from our Mephisto, and Corpse Feeders again from Miller Coffee's Zagara. This bottom camp looks like it will go over. Johanna using the Iron Skin to walk in. They're going to look to put some damage in, and Chest Looter comes in as well. A huge whip followed by the time stop means everyone gets out. And what an incredibly coordinated play from Travis Party and Infinity Meme, meaning they don't just take the camp, but they do it without any casualties. They have a tiny advantage on the levels. IE is taking this camp, while Godfred, Infinity, and Travis push out the minion wave. Miller Coffee getting lots of creep tumors down for the vision. And Nullius has been able to push all by himself, as Dahaka has to waddle his way back up to the top lane. Johanna is keeping vision. Infinity Meme has vision here. Both teams will capture their mid-causer camps, and will look to defend. These teams do not choose to fight each other. In fact, it is Crit Kickers who go mid and gillyShark who goes bottom. They will also go to capture the wave top as Hogger pachinkos his way through this bruiser camp in the top. It looks like Dahaka and Zagara will use Zerg power to take their bruiser camp in the top as well. They only need Kerrigan to complete the Zerg trifecta. Or a Nubarak with the Zerg skin, also acceptable. Not Butcher with the Zerg skin, though. Not Butcher. Godfred using Slam to clear some of these creep tumors. They do capture the camp, but there's a tongue onto Nullius. But now it means Chest Looter's all by himself. The Lurker Strain makes him invisible, which gives him a little bit of safety. But they invade this camp hard, seeing that the members of gillyShark are bottom. And a very aggressive call in the game 3. We often see safe play in game number 3, but Crit Kickers goes, screw that noise, we're putting our foot down, we're getting this reverse sweep, and we don't care what you think about it. Chest Looter forced to stay top to deal with both siege camps, as this is bottom. He should have dig up by the time that he has this cleared, however. And keep putting the damage out. He does get caught by the condemn, but here comes the unstoppable Augur, and the hook goes on to Iron. Again, the circle made him a sitting duck, kind of like Falstad on his flying duck. And Alexstrasza is dead, and yeah, the rest of, with Dahaka still pushing out, the rest of gillyShark just has to leave this shrine over to their opponents. Godfred goes for another big hook, but there wasn't a big green circle saying hook here, so he missed. And I love Alexstrasza, do not get me wrong, I think she's an awesome healer, but I think since she came out, a lot of characters that punish that circle healing have also come out, and it makes her healing extraordinarily predictable. So Godfred is up here breaking, so they can rotate. The jump comes out onto Joe, a good Iron Skin comes out, and the healing circle will keep her topped off. This Mortar Punisher is doing a lot of damage to these buildings. The gate goes fully down, but the Punisher is down to about a quarter of its health, and after doing about 1/4, maybe closer to a third on this fort. A big whip there onto Stark, but the temporal loop does come out on Akib. He manages to dance away because Joe is pressuring Infinity Meme's Chromie. She's so slowed from that condemn. Oh my goodness. Infinity Meme. Oh, a great saving hook at 30 hit points. Infinity lives because Godred hooks her like a champion. Now, Dahaka has dug down. It is a 5v4, but the advantage is still to the health bars of our members from Crit Kickers. Mothercoffee gets incredibly low and is blown away by the Chromie damage. And in the top, Hogger is just knolling his way through the top lane. 13 out of 15 globes have been collected by this Alexstrasza, and only 13 stacks for this Falstad thus far. So we've seen, it's now a full level lead for Crit Kickers. They lost game 1, and ever since then, they've been playing like they've got a burr in their saddle. They're angry, and they're going to make gillyShark pay for it. So the siege camp is going to need to be cleared out because this fort is at half health, and that will give the members of Crit Kickers the opportunity to steal the mid-siege camp from their opponents, stealing another opportunity for experience. Dahaka pushing out top, Hogger quickly rotating to meet him as the remainder of Crit Kickers looks to take their own camp. Now this is dealing damage to the tower here, but it's no longer protected, so a quick clear does come out from gillyShark at Bingo Night. However, they are seen by the Hourglass of Chromie, and then the Vision of Chromie. The Time Walker's pursuit. They're looking at the Dahaka here. Dahaka can be hard to gank, but out comes the Shockwave. A big stun, and he's getting the burrow now. The Lurker Strain is out, but it doesn't matter. He is killed. And considering he has been helping the team double soak, this is going to be an experience disadvantage again. Tens are here for Crit Kickers. They have Gust on the Falstad. We've already seen the Temporal Loop. Gorge on Stitches. Crystal Aegis on Ariel. And we saw the Shockwave come out to help kill that Dahaka, who will be back in 1 second and should have Dig available if he needs it, but it looks like he's simply going to waddle towards the top lane. But this Hogger is getting good damage on this top fort. Bottom. It's not being defended. The rotation, the response is slow from the members of gillyShark. They're going to lose this bottom fort. It's gone. It's dead. Just ignore it now. Nobody cares. They're looking to see if they can punish them. Out comes the Blessed Shield as Tens are here for gillyShark. Out comes, but Chest Looter misses the isolation, but the Gust also hits no one. There's the grab onto IE, and the Turns of Hate means he's locked in place. But we see the Maw capture too. The Crystal Aegis keeps IE alive for now, and there's the heal. They time out for the Chromie. IE is taking so much damage from this dragon, but Infinity will in fact go down first. But the Hook Gorge is onto Zagar, and it looks like this will be a 1-for-1 as both offlaners come in and try to save their teams. Miller Copper is taking so much damage, is also taking the fort shots. This is a very good fight for Crit Kickers at this point. It's a 1-for-1 after they first went through. A great hook onto Chest Looter means he doesn't get healed by the healing circle, but his trait is enough to keep him alive. And after every ult except for Shockwave and Temporal Loop were used, we see it ending up being a 1-for-1. Now Shrine has activated the top, but Crit Kickers will look to take this Bruiser camp first, and so will the members of gillyShark, looking to take their Bruiser before. Now, one of the slight downsides to the Shrine being here is you'll take this camp, and then your opposing team will be able to fairly easily clear it because they're just here. But the positioning advantage does go over to the members of Crit Kickers, and now they're rotating away. gillyShark doesn't want this. They're down 13, so they're just going to look to soak for the moment. They don't want to fight this. They're just going to defend this camp. Dahaka's taking the bottom camp. They're just going to give over a Frozen Punisher, which is considered to be, if not tied for first, then first on its own for its ability to freeze buildings and root heroes. Yes, Wave Prio is going to go strongly to the advantage of gillyShark here, and it will give them opportunities to get some structure damage to catch up in experience. I'm still not sure. They only have one person top to stop this. The rotate is going to be slow for the defense. They're trying to take this bottom fort with Mephisto and Dahaka, but it's going to be defended, and I don't know if they forgot or just didn't care that there was a global. The hook comes out at level 13. It's super long now, but it does miss. IE is taking this down while Hogger supports. And again, Stark's hitting Nullius, but Nullius can hit the tank with no fear because the building was shut off. The top fort does go down, and Stark is getting punched by a big frozen boy. Finally, they rotate to defend it. I guess they had chosen to give up the building in the hope that they could get a building in return, but it was defended quickly. And now we see Crit Kickers rotate quickly to the mid, while the members of gillyShark have to prevent the big... He turned around to punch the roaches. I hate roaches too, buddy. Roaches are gross. The jump should be coming out again soon. They need to be careful. They want to make sure this goes on their tank. And it doesn't. It goes on to Mephisto, but he managed to walk into the healing circle and is still alive. Dahaka is bottom, was looking to see if he needed to dig in. Mid fort was taken, but the Maw comes out onto Stitches. Chest Looter does get the silence onto Infinity, and the fire bombs are coming out from Alexstrasza, the real dragon, onto Chromie, the fake dragon. The hook comes out, but it's just mistimed by Godfred, and they don't manage to capture Mephisto as he returns to his shade. They are on an even talent tier now, and I do think Crit Kickers will look to get 16 before they try to take another fight, unless they can get a big hook. No, it just misses Stark. So we do see Wave Prio in 2 of the 3 lanes benefiting the members of Crit Kickers. But on the other hand, that does mean the experience is pushing right into the members of gillyShark, meaning they may be able to catch up here more quickly. Stark is kind of caught out by themselves here. They're going to need to be careful. Miller Coffee did drop some roaches onto this fort. It wasn't enough to blow it up, but every little bit of damage helps. 16s will be caught soon here by the members of Crit Kickers. The hook comes out, but the Iron Skin from Johanna keeps her safe as Dahaka goes top to clear out the lane. 16s coming in right now for the members of Crit Kickers. They did have their foot on the gas early in the game. The game has slowed down a little bit since then. They do still have about a level and a quarter advantage, but there's nothing to fight over right now on the map. This camp is 42 seconds. This camp is 29 seconds. And they really don't want to get caught out in the map either. So they are running a 1-3-1 at the moment, although Nullius is looking to take this bottom camp. And IE is going to kill... Well, actually, he's freezing this wave. He's not looking to push out at the moment. He wants to see if they can bait anybody to show up here. But Dahaka, too smart for that, is simply waiting to see when it'll come back to him. This camp is up in 10 seconds, and the vision does come out from the Chromie here. Miller Coffee goes to set it. Godfred tries to catch him with the hook, but it's not the right time for that. So they'll look to take the scamp, and right now, safely soak is the watchword for gillyShark. They know if they hit 16, have an even talent tier, they have every opportunity to take a fight that gets them back in this game. Chest Looter has been incredibly safe this entire time. And again, after 13, when that Stitch's hook gets really long, you have to be extra careful. He can hook you from quite a ways away. And in fact, he's looking for the cheese hook here. IE does get captured by the Condemned, takes a lot of damage. Then Temporal Loop is out onto E. Keep takes so much damage and is blown away by Infinity's Dragon Breath. Oh my, so, and the hook is onto Iron. He's taking so much damage. The silence does come out. No, the tongue. Oh, she manages to get up into her Cleansing Flame, keeping herself alive and healing her teammates. I'm not sure we did go over their ultimates. They have Isolation, Blessed Shield on Joe, Cleansing Flame for the Alexstrasza, Endurance of Hate for Mephisto, and Maw. Devouring Maw. We do have the Piercing Sand now for Infinity Memes Chromie as it's piercing through that Dahaka. They're taking lots of damage onto this gate. In the meantime, the camp is pushing top, and Nullius is going to start taking minions on the shrine as he goes for the Super Spin. Well, the members here. Sark takes so much damage and he's blown away by Falstad this time. The hook onto Miller Coffee takes so much damage. And poor Lupus down as well. Devouring Maw does capture Stitches, but it doesn't matter. IE is taking a lot of damage here. He doesn't have... I don't think he's got barrel roll at the moment, but that's 2 for nothing, and they are now going to siege up this keep in the bottom lane while Nullius... Zoom, 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 zoom. Hook comes out, it just misses a keep. 10 more seconds before Johanna is up, and 15 on the Sagara as they wait for the Arcane Punisher to join them. Now, this is one of the weaker ones, but it can do damage. On the top lane, they lose the gate to catapults and siege pressure. They're getting really split by the pressure that's getting put all over the map by Crit Kickers as they look to hit 20 and dominate the end of this game. This is starting to look very difficult as the team they have is getting caught up. There is the hook. It comes out, but the jump, the Iron Skin is perfectly timed by Stark, and he does not get killed. The Temporal Loop will come out now, though. The silence comes out, but Infinity Me manages to use timeout to stay alive. A big heal there by Travis Party. And it looks like Iron has found ways to get out that healing circle after the hook is down. But when 20 comes out, that hook will be a very low cooldown. Stark takes so much damage and is blown away by IE. The Endurance of Hate does come out, though. The Crystal Aegis is onto IE, and Nullius is forced to get a big heal. They do gorge Iron and kill him. The reverse sweep looks like it's well on its way. 20s come out. We've got Nexus Frenzy from Falstad, Piercing Sands, Master Hooker, and No Control. Hogger has shown up here. It is a 5v3, and the reverse sweep is completed. GG! Well played by both teams, but a fantastic comeback by the members of Crit Kickers. The kills are 9-1, and as much as I'd love to say I was wrong, Alexstrasza was great. Alexstrasza was fine, but the hooks really messed with their ability to do what they wanted to do with the healing. Zagara struggled to find her damage and always having to be careful for the hooks. And again, we see the damage numbers reflect this. Their highest damage dealer in Mephisto, 14,000 behind Chromie. Uh, Miller on or Zagara on Miller Coffee. Now some of this will be stat diff for sure. 7,000 behind Falstad. Even the healing. Now Ariel is one of the strongest in the game right now, but 50,000 to 37,000. So this was a big struggle of a game, and I love gillyShark's patterns this series in drafting unusual heroes, looking for things that might throw their opponents off, or just having fun characters in their draft. I think we need more of that in heroes in general and in NGS. I think that's really cool that they're definitely not meta slaves up in Div A. But we're starting to see some of the inefficiencies of some of the characters that aren't meta, unfortunately, when the level of play is this good. I also think bringing in Travis Partington as Ariel for 2 games made a big difference. This is in no way to put a slam on the Brightwing that Icon was playing, but Ariel was what this team needed for the big AoE heals, and Travis Partington did a fantastic job. And after kind of a rough first game, I feel like Nullius really was able to go farther when the 4-man was able to provide more pressure on the map. So overall, a fantastic series. But it seemed like after game one, Crit Kickers really managed to get their heads into the game and force, not just push, but force gillyShark onto the back foot in their games. And that was the difference. The kill counts, the damage numbers, way in their advantage in games 2 and 3. So great job and great series. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone who did. If we got any new followers, thank you so much. And I do hope that all of you have yourselves a great day. That's our last cast for today, but maybe we'll have a chance to cast some more replays tomorrow. I hope you've had yourself a great one. Please take your time and go enjoy some Heroes of the Storm.